Thanks, Kurt. Local entrepreneurs made their pitch for a cash prize at tonight's Big Gig competition at the Maine Savings Amphitheater. $500 up front and a chance to compete for a $5,000 grand prize are up for grabs. First up was Shannon Byers with NOK Finders, which uses forensic genealogy to find next of kin in unclaimed person cases. Next was Kendra Jewett with Riley's Recipes Pet Bakery, featuring artisan dog treats free of major allergens. Finally, Bryn Flagg presented AWIN Recovery, which supports the families of those with a loved one battling addiction. The Big Gig has been around since 2012, and officials say it offers more than just that initial elevator pitch.
If you're a young entrepreneur, the more you can get out and talk about your business idea, talk to people who are in business, talk to people who want to advise. It's a really friendly environment out here, and there's a lot of networking that happens at these Big Gig events. So even if you're thinking about maybe pitching, come out and come check it out, and then maybe apply next year.
AWIN Recovery will compete with Messology Maine and Devil's Half Acre Distillery for the grand prize. One more wild card spot is up for grabs through upcoming social media voting.